to court. 7 years, all leading to one verdict. A verdict which you must decide. Is the defendant Vera Missum innocent or guilty? The courtroom doors are opening. The trial awaits. Are you ready to begin? Something inside me, rising, surfacing. Something important, lost long ago. It's close now, so close. Now incessant for the trial of the omission. The defense is ready, Your Honor. Prosecution is ready to mark. Prosecutor Gavin, how is the defendant? Vera Missum's condition. Electrocuted in prison according to her physician. She could die at any time. Thus, the absence from the courtroom today. What? We can't put her on trial without her being here. It is unusual. We should wait for her to get better and do it then. It's so bureaucratic of them. Being a little harsh. Can't delay the trial any longer, or they risk having no one left to try. The trial without the verdict can only cause grief. The records of this case and experience tell us this. Apologies to the defendant, but the show must go on. Right. If Vera dies, the trial will be cancelled. I'm not going to let that happen. Mr. Wright told me everything that's been going on behind the curtain all these years. Let's get Vera her innocence verdict while there's still time. Very well. Your opening statement, Prosecutor Gavin. The prosecution's case is unchanged by recent events. Why did Vera Missum succumb to poison? Because he couldn't live with the guilt of what she done. Objection! Vera was poisoned with antiquin. The exact same poison that took her father's life. What better confession could you ask for? The killer seemed to have had access to the poison. Significant, since it's rather hard to come by. That is true. In other words, I see no need for further discussion. We could have had our verdict yesterday. Well, Mr. Justice, if you have no objections, I see no reason to postpone a verdict. What we need to worry about isn't the verdict, but the trial itself. The defense holds that Vera Missum is the victim, not the killer. If that's so, then you have to prove something. Seal was in court, giving her testimony before us. How do you propose a killer poisoned her? Oh, incidentally, it would be nice if you told us who her mystery killer was. The prosecution's objection is sustained. I ask the defense to prove its claims to the court. Tell us how Vera Missum was poisoned. I've got two things to prove here. Who did it, and how. What's the hit first? How did the killer poison Vera Missum? I'll focus first on the method used. Any comments before we begin, Prosecutor Gavin? The bottle or container of the poison was found on the defendant's body. I see. So the vector of poisoning is unknown. Is the defense prepared to prove how the poison reached Vera Missum? Yes, Your Honor. Very well. What method was used to poison viewer mission? Take that! What's this? My, what a beautiful bottle. I have to give whoever designed that a hand. Is that nail polish? It's colorless. Something the matter? No, nothing. Nothing at all. So the killer put poison in this bottle and made her drink it? As Christoph Gavin has told us, this is nail polish. Nail polish? It's like paint for nails. Known any woman with red nails? My wife has red nails. I see. So she's been painting them all this time. Let's record yesterday's trial. Remember when Vio was testifying to the court? Court is now back in session. Vio seems pretty tense. She's practically chewing her fingernails clean off. Whenever Vio became nervous, she had a habit of biting her nails. Her nails? Prosecutor Gavin. When the prosecution had Vera examined, did they check her nails? Well, Bailiff, have them check the defendant's nails at once. Mr. Justice. Yes? Do you know who did this? Do you know who put poison in that nail polish? Yes. That bottle belongs to Vila Mission? Why do you ask? Know someone else who might have a bottle like this? No, just checking. Mr. Justice, you are about to accuse someone of poisoning that bottle of nail polish. Please dispense with the chatter. You realize the weight of this accusation. Let me show you. Understood, Your Honor. No problem. I know what I'm doing this time. Then let us ask, who poisoned Vera Mission via her nail polish? Take that! What's this? Kristoph Gavin? Objection! What's your game? My bro, there's no way he could do a thing like that. You should know that better than anyone else. Indeed, he is behind bars. You know. However, that doesn't mean it was impossible to do what he did. What? Ask yourselves when he put the poison in the bottle. It could have been yesterday. Could have been a month ago. Maybe it was a year ago. Or perhaps it was 7 years ago. But Kristoph Gavin had no motive for killing this poor girl. It's inconceivable. Rescue Gavin doesn't seem to think so. That face tells me one thing. Kristoph Gavin's own younger brother doesn't find it inconceivable at all. Well, Prosecutor Gavin, if you feel there is a clear and pressing need, then we may have to summon Kristoph Gavin from jail as a special witness. Fine. I've known for some time that an impenetrable darkness lurked at the bottom of this. Darkness that has swallowed even myself. Okay. Defense's list is granted. Let prisoner Kristoph Gavin take the stand. Bailiff, begin proceedings to call a special witness. The witness is Kristoph Gavin, currently residing in solitary cell 13 at Central Prison. Your Honor, how nice to see you again. It's been quite a while, hasn't it? To what do I owe the pleasure of your company? It's not every day I'm summoned from my solitary cell. In fact, it's never. I think you already know, Mr. Kristoph Gavin. Mr. Justice. Hey, you've been doing quite well for yourself. Why do I feel like somehow he's still my boss? Step up, Apollo. You can do it! Does this bottle look familiar? Our dirty nail polish? Why yes, I use it myself. As the late defendant, I hear. She's not dead yet. Was there something concerning this bottle you wish to ask me about? I admit, I had respect for her taste in nail polish. Her taste, indeed. This nail polish was how Will Mearsome was poisoned. Enter Corinne, was it? You're well informed about the case, Mr. Gavin. Even solitary once comes to my desk. I have nothing to do but read. Well, Clavier. Maybe you can explain this. You're being accused again. By him. Again! And you agree with his accusations, do you? Let's hold a proper trial, shall we? Kristoph Gavin, your testimony, please. I'll be delighted. The charges against you are quite severe, Mr. Gavin. You are suspected of the poisoning of the defendant via omission. Please testify on this matter to the court. Owning the same nail polish is not a murder remake. I have been in solitary confinement for half a year. How could I poison her? Her father died of the same poison, the meaning of which should be clear. The prosecution's case holds. She poisoned her father, then attempted to poison herself. Silly, you are going to see this idol responsible for poisoning her father too? Well, I'm afraid the defense's claim is sounding rather unlikely. Naturally. For one, I don't even know the missions. Isn't that so, Mr. Justice? Very well, Mr. Justice. Begin your cross-examination. I'm accusing Kristoph Gavin, my ex-boss. But I know he poisoned the missions. The question is, when could he have done it? Not to mention, why? Owning the same nail polish is not a murder remake. I have been in solitary confinement for half a year. How could I poison her? Her father died of the same poison, the meaning of which should be clear. The prosecution's case holds. She poisoned her father, then attempted to poison herself. Surely you aren't good, because I am responsible for poisoning her father too. It was you who killed Drew Misham. A bluff worthy of your new mentor, Mr. Light? Oh, really? But you see, I saw it. Right when you said her father, too. Your hand tense unnaturally, and a little devil appeared to give me the news. And let's assume, for the sake of argument, that you saw me being tense. What does that mean? Are you... or all tense witnesses guilty? And tell me, was Drew Missing fond of nail polish too? Sorry, but there's more than one way to poison a man. You don't need nail polish to get to someone's mouth. The man must be very talented indeed. You see, June Missum was killed on October 6th. While I was already in my solitary confinement cell at Central Prison. If that's not an alibi, then I don't know what is. You found a way. All the same. And I found it too. This is how you poison Mr. Misham. Take that! I'm sorry, this commemorative stamp requires no introduction. The night Mr. Misham died, he was seen writing a letter. Intricunum was found on the stamp, Mr. Gavin. So, to understand, the stamp was the murder weapon? Yes, you are. Oh, and yes, this stamp was found in your prison cell. That is all, Your Honor. Order, order, order! Poison on the back of that stamp? After Drew Missum was killed, someone paid a visit to this witness's cell. Phoenix White. Daddy? That's when he found the stamp. You made Drew Missum write you a letter. That's how you killed him. What? My mom. You have upset my poor brother to the point of uselessness. Allow me to clarify this matter, Justice. All you need to do is recall this Spark Bruce's testimony. Well, that's the thing. After you put his letter in that envelope, Mr. Missum's after something is that straw for something. Is that straw? Yes, a stamp, a so-called postage stamp, and clothes. He was looking for a stump. There we go. He had no intention of using this stump. What are you getting at? What I'm arriving at is that this stamp wasn't a friend. It was mere coincidence that we used it that night. Well, it seemed to be the case. Perhaps you need to suggest that I could somehow manipulate the coincidence? He does have a point. How would this witness know if the victim was going to use that stamp? Without that, he couldn't have planned the murder. What? Really, Clavier? You should be seeing through these Shakespeare-bind bluffs by now. He's right, though. How could anyone have known Mr. Misham would use that stamp that night? He's about Kristoph Gavin locked away in his cell. Well, it seems that the defense has run out of things to say. You assumed he had something to say in the first place? I believe the defense's bluff has been called. The defense's bluff? I'm not sure I agree with you there, Kristoph. Clavier? Honestly, I wanted to believe you. But the defense wasn't trying to get away with a bluff. You were, Kristoph? What are you saying, Prosecutor Gavin? Go ahead. What was your accusation again? Huh? Oh, it was that this poison stamp killed Missum, yeah? With my brother responded, trust me. There was no way to know when Missum would use the stuff. Yes, that's right. Which is why it couldn't have been planned. Tell me, it needs to be planned. Why? Why could it have been a coincidence? The defense's case is simply that Missum died by that stamp. That's all. Coincidence? Kristoph tried to slip out from under his accusation by changing the subject. If that's not bluffing, what is it? What are you doing, Javier? I could ask you the same question, Kristoph. That sounds to the best as as possible. It's called efficiency. But Mr. Gavin, that's impermissible testimony. Well, I shall take his claim head on then. Justice. What? You accused me of Drew Missum's murder, yes? Then allow me to ask you, what possible reason could I have to kill a painter? Hollow, motive! He's talking about a motive! Indeed. Let's see how an attorney could come to want to kill a painter. Now here's something. Why didn't you bring up the motive from the very beginning? As he was afraid it was a battle he might lose. So, what does it mean? Maybe there might be a weak spot. Maybe I have some evidence to prove a motive. A motive for murder. This is a vital, if not the most vital element in this case. Please consider this when making your statement. I'd say it's about this vital. That's pretty vital. Well, Mr. Justice, I'll do this no matter what. Understood, Your Honor. I'd like to present evidence. And let's see what you have for us. What reason do Kristoph Gavin have for wanting to kill murder through mission? Kristoph Gavin's motive becomes clear when we consider why the stamp came to Drew Missum's studio in the first place. And why was that? Forgery, Your Honor. Go back 7 years. Drew Missum accepts his first stop creating forged evidence. I've seen that before. Page of a diary, wasn't it? Amplified Camelot's diary. When Attorney Phoenix Wright was his eyes, yes? This was the evidence he presented to his loss. This evidence is a fake, yes. But did Mr. Wright request a forgery be made? That was never proven. Objection! The defense attorney on that case was Phoenix Wright. Who, other than him, drank with the prospect of victim could have done it? And why would they? Just out of curiosity, do you remember this letter? This is the first page. And this is the second. These were presented in court yesterday. This letter was sent to the commission by the client who requested that forgery. The enclosed stamp was none other than the poisoned commemorative stamp. Drew Missum drew his last breath just the other day. However, the motive for his murder was already 7 years old. 7 years old? The client who requested this forgery was very cautious. He tried to erase anything and anyone with connections to the forgery to keep them from talking. But he made a mistake. So I kept it. Father took me when I was very young. It was a great magic show. I loved it so much. The killer's time bomb was delayed. The poison stamp was sealed within a glass frame, where it sat for 7 whole years. Little forehead. Do you understand what you're telling us? The one who schemed up the forged diary page was the one who poisoned the stump. And it was Phoenix Wright who presented the forged evidence 7 years ago. Adding the two statements together, the one who schemed to kill Drew Missum was none other than Phoenix Wright. Objection! sorry, but that's not how this is going to go down. Oh, and how will it go down? I checked through the records on that case, and I found this. 7 years ago, just before the trial began. Oh boy. Here. What's this? I don't know. This guy over there in the hall. They told me to give it to the old boy in the blue suit with the spiky hair. And one more thing. I'm sorry to have sprung this on you so suddenly. I received the files from your previous attorney only yesterday. I understand I'm asking the impossible of you. Yes, well, you haven't really told me what happened yet. All we did was play cards. That was enough. Phoenix Wright was put on the case the day before the trial started. He didn't have time to request a forgery. The day before? Now here's a question. Just who was Shady Enigma's previous defense attorney? Oh, this can't all be. But it is all true. There was another man, a defense attorney for badge on his collar. It was you, Kristoph Gavin. Order, order, order. What is the meaning of this? Witness, defendant, former lawyer. Let me begin by denying this. Objection! It's easy enough to look up, Mr. Gavin. And impossible to prove if you can't. Attorneys are registered with the court the day before the trial begins. In other words, no record remains in the court. How exactly did you intend to prove Phoenix Wright's claim? That would be difficult. I'm afraid this line of inquiry won't yield. Objection! Your forehead. Are you sure you don't have evidence? What's wrong with Prosecutor Gavin? He looks clammy. Evidence! Evidence that shows this man, Kristoph Gavin, requested that forgery 7 years ago. Oh, yeah. Just prove it! Clear up these doubts now, I swear I'm off this case! You must have thought of some evidence, Apollo. Gavin looks like he's in physical pain. That darkness. Pull that darkness out of him. Proof is the only way I can. Kristoph Gavin's linked to you, Misham. Well, Mr. Justice. Kristoph Gavin was a forgery you Misham 7 years ago. Prove it. Can be proven. Simply ridiculous. This evidence is not. Objection! Are you telling the truth, Apollo Justice? I am. Then, I said we give him the benefit of the doubt. Very well. If you're wrong about this, be prepared for a penalty. Objection! Your Honor, you need offense and injustice. Mr. Justice is clearly passionate about this crime. Should the penalty not match the passion? I haven't given a penalty like that in a long time. Well, Mr. Justice. Fine, Your Honor. All I have to do is prove... All I have to prove is any kind of link. Something that ties Kristoph Gavin to you, Misham. And I have something that clearly does the job. Very well, Mr. Justice. Present your evidence. Show us a link between our witness and you, Misham. This evidence proves there's a link. Objection! That scrap of paper. I'm afraid I can't let you submit that. Is there some problem? still is. How could you possibly have that? You couldn't. Hmm? Hey, that's Daddy's handwriting. Mr. White's handwriting. What is the meaning of this? I see now. Yes, of course. What do you mean, of course? I just remembered I had a visitor yesterday. Phoenix Wright came to my cell, except I wasn't there. Phoenix Wright? No, he had something of mine in his possession. Of course, I had no intention of letting him get away with reading my private mail. No, this letter was in your cell. No? It appears Mr. Wright has yet to be cured of his bad reporting habits. It's unfortunate. It's not a very good one. The handwriting's terrible. This is Mr. White's reproduction of what was written in the real letter. Reproduction? When Mr. White visited Kristoph Gavin's cell, he brought with him a small video camera. What? He recorded his entire conversation with you, Mr. Gavin, and the contents of your personal mail. Regardless, this mockery of a piece of evidence will never be accepted by the court. Evidence based on a video a man with no authority whosoever claims he took. A man who happens to be an ex-attorney suspected of forgery. Prosecutor Gavin. Prosecutor Gavin? Embarrassing as this is for me to say. I'm afraid my brother isn't capable of making rational judgments at the moment. Your Honor, your decision, please. Defense's claim is denied. What? The actual evidence is permitted in a court of law. Please remove the defense's evidence from the record. Until next time, Justice. Taking a detail from our cross-examination. The defense appears to be lacking proof. For us to end the cross-examination of Kristoph Gavin at this point. Apollo, do something! I'm thinking, but evidence. I don't have anything I can use on him. Very well. Listen to special witnesses' cross-examination.
Objection!
Show's over, but the crowd screams for more. Only now do I understand why. Prosecutor Gavin? Frankly, I'm relieved. This has been bothering me for 7 whole years. And I'm tired of the whole youthful angst scene. Now is our chance. Let's clear out the family closet there, Kristoph. Yeah, you're spinning out of control. Calm yourself before you say something you regret. Spinning out of whose control? Mine or yours? Take a moment to consider everything you've built. Your reputation as a prosecutor, your fame with the masses. You could lose all that, yeah. Hello, you see that? He's trying to press Prosecutor Gavin. Prosecutor Gavin, try to remember. What's really important to you? You abused me here beforehand. I couldn't forget what's really important to me even if I tried. In fact, I haven't. Not even once. 7 years ago. Finally. You just couldn't resist, could you, White? Resist what? Presenting solid evidence? I thought a request be put the current cross-examination on hold. The prosecution would like to call a new witness. State your name and occupation for the record. I'm familiar with the trial. I've watched the video several times. Did you find anything unnatural about it? Natural? Well, you did seem unusually well prepared. I mean, Mr. Whitehead only just presented his evidence. And the next moment, you call in Drew Misham. It was almost as if... What? Funny. It didn't even occur to me to wonder. But now that I do, I see there's only one possible explanation. Almost as if, from the very beginning, you knew Mr. White was going to present that evidence. Ah. Correct? I knew that if I applied the usual pressure, Phoenix Wright would eventually come up with that policy ID page. Don't do this, Clavier. I knew because you told me, Kristoph. Huh. What? It was the night before the trial. Clavier. Kristoph. I see you at the prosecutor's office the day before the trial. Why not? Don't be facing off with you on your first trial, apparently. But in exchange, I brought information. Information? You tell me who will be there in my place tomorrow is not to be trusted. You will give him the benefit of your respect. Listen, I want to call in a special witness. Then, I learned about it at the time. How did Kristoph know so much? Prosecutor Gavin. Kristoph, we were supposed to face each other in that trial. A failed fight, brother to brother. I deserved that much. You let me borrow the victim's belongings. You showed me all your research on the case. The victim's belongings? Which would have included Magnified's diary, wouldn't it? Mr. Gavin? My Clavier, you disappoint me. You find trees, yet miss the forest. You're the one missing the forest, Mr. Gavin. You can't sweep this under the rug. Not anymore. Tell me what was going on behind that trial. Why not? I've achieved what I came here to do. I see no harm in a little reminiscing. Apollo, I think we're finally going to shine a light on the black belly of this thing, Trucy. We've done everything we could. I hope it's enough. 7 years ago, the day before the trial, I visited the detention center at the request of my client, Zach Glamorai. 2 cards. 1 card. Showdown time. Enough. You lose, Gavin. Thanks for looking. Now. To be honest, I don't know what his reasons were to this day. As far as I could tell, he dismissed me as his representation because I lost in a game of poker. I didn't come to no other conclusion. Daddy used to say something. If you want to know a man, you have to compete. Zach wasn't watching his points or the cards. He was watching the man behind the cards, Kristoph Gavin. I couldn't believe it. Phoenix Wright, a second-rate attorney who relies on luck and bluffs. He dismissed me, and went with that pitiful excuse for a man. He deserved to die for that error alone. Hold it! So the one who requested that forgery was... Oh, I'm not admitting to anything. My point is, these 2 men shaved me, and I could not forgive that. Phoenix Wright and Zach Glamorai both deserve what they got. So asked Mr. Mission to forge that evidence so you could win. But then, when you were dismissed as Zack Gamorai's attorney, you used your forged evidence as a trap. You fed me information about the forgery you made. Then you gave your dirty evidence to him. You're free to imagine what you will. My point is that all I had imagined came to pass. Everything went perfectly. Incredible. If I wasn't laughing, I'd leap. Prosecutor Gavin? Perfectly. You're mad, Kristoph? Stop fooling yourself. What are you talking about, Clavier? Tell me, how did that trial end? Cancelled when the defendant vanished. I get it. So, Kristoph, you've been living in field for 7 years. What? You were afraid your forgery would be revealed and your reputation trashed. You couldn't leave things to chance. So you watched everyone involved with the case for 7 years. He always felt like he was being wise. That's what he said every day for 7 years. But I felt it too. Journalists saw he is being watched and proud. But you wonder why Zack Gamorai got involved out after 7 years? The government's in contact with me? Wait just a minute. Zack Gamorai was seen by this reporter? How is that possible? Is he alive after being gone 7 years? Finally, I knew this moment was coming. I just didn't think we'd get here so fast. Zack Gamorai, gone missing for 7 years. Sushi's father. What's wrong, Apollo? Go get him! Right. Leave it to me. Allow me to refresh the court's memory. 6 months ago, Kristoph Gavin was charged with murdering a mysterious traveler. I remember him quite well. Shotty Smith. Poisoning in a Chinese restaurant. Tragic. Details don't really matter right now. What matters is, that traveler was Zack Gamorai. What is it, Apollo? Huh? Keep going. We'll talk about it later. Does he already know? Someone please explain this. Mr. Justice, can you explain this? It all started 7 years ago. The great magician Magnify Gamorai's death started it. Magnify Gamorai's death and his student, Zack Gamorai, the suspect. For the defendant Zack in court successfully would be famous beyond belief. Thinking that, Kristoph Gavin did the unthinkable. He forged evidence. Drew Misham? Actually, it was his daughter, Vera, who really did the work. You took full precautions when you made that forgery. When you had that forgery made, didn't you, Mr. Gavin? Precautions? To keep people from talking, of course. These two know too much. There would be nothing but trouble. That's when you planned your poisoning of the forgers. That's your crime. Applied circumventive stamp. But luck was on Mr. Mission's side. The bomb didn't go off. His daughter. She saved him by taking the stamp. I see. But that wasn't the only bomb he set up. The elderly nail polish, of course. You know something when you requested that forgery. When Bill Mission was nervous, she had as a bad habit. A tendency to bite her nails. Nail So good luck, Tom. She was almost kidnapped once. Since then, she's been, well, you can see for yourself. She refuses to leave the house. That person gave me a good luck charm when I absolutely had to go outside. It protects me. Yes. Apparently, she received something. A gift. She won't tell me what it was. It was from that client, the one who wanted that note made. It was his insurance. Insurance? As long as she lived quietly at home, there was no danger to her. What if she had to go outside? If she ran into any trouble, she'd become nervous. And the nail polish would do the rest. This time bomb sat there for 7 years. And then, they went off almost simultaneously. If you're finished, may I return to my cell now? I'm not accustomed to standing for such long periods of time. Mr. Gavin, have you heard a single thing we've said? Oh, I listened quite closely to your little tale. Quite an entertaining piece of fiction. What? Clavier, surely you understand. Back to the evidence. The lacking evidence. That includes a link between him and the educational that took Julimism's life. Objection! What about the restaurant? You killed Zach Gameron to keep him from talking. I could no man of that name. Read over the report again if you'd like. The victim was a traveler. And name was Sadie Smith, about whom we know little else. You can't seriously think I knew he was that particular fugitive. Objection! Okay, then why did you kill him? I plead my right to remain silent. Remember, this was nothing you mean to put me on trial. The defendant's name is Bill Mission, suspected the motive for her father. My trial has been finished for 6 months now. We have straight considerably from our purpose here. This court concurs with the witness. It is the defendant Bill Missing who is on trial. No! You do so well, Apollo! As long as there is no evidence to support the accusation against him, this course of inquiry cannot find Bill Missing innocent. Objection! Your Honor, Phoenix Wright spent 7 years collecting this evidence. Objection! You still don't get it, do you? Gun was poisoned in the nail polish. Then was responsible for causing Vera Wilson to bite her nails. What? It wasn't me. I know that much. The one who brought that poison to her lips. It was you. What? Evidence is everything. There is nothing more. I believe this discussion has reached its conclusion. Your Honor! Mr. Justice, you have performed undeniably well for a novice attorney. I respect your partner on Phoenix Wright's determination as well. However, without direct proof, you have nothing. Isn't that right, Clavier? Unfortunately, yes, Kristoph, you're right. That is, you would have been right until now. What? Did the news not reach your desk in solitary? The eyes of the nation are on this courtroom today. This is a trial case for a new judicial system. That's right. I'd totally forgotten. The justice system. Jealous, did you say? According to the our system has been deemed too closed off from society. This new system attempts to interject the wisdom of common citizens into the law. Common citizens? Wisdom? Is this some kind of a joke? What could we possibly gain by doing this? Entrusting our Dinosaur system to a mindless, emotional mob of irrational mouth breathers? Common citizens have something called common sense. Common sense is not restricted by the law. Nonsense. There's only room for two in this court. Me and the law. Keeping the riffraff out. Out, I say! They're not in the court, actually. They're watching everything by video camera. How can you allow this? Incidentally, the one responsible for making this happen was Phoenix White. Phoenix Light? So, everything was leading to this. Of course. Light. Right? Right?